So as most people know who has been watching for a while now, last week I went to Oz and asked the wizard for a graphics card. Since then I have been testing out different Nvidia RTX maps. So far I've tried out Neon District, Hilltop Lifestyle, Portals and Medieval. Today I thought I would try out an all new map called Crystal Palace. So the journey starts off on a boat, and like with most of the maps that I have played before, this world is set in survival but comes with a few limitations since exploring is the main focus. Now when you first spawn in this world, nothing immediately stands out in terms of ray tracing effects. It is in the middle of the day, so that is understandable, but if it were not for the water and some of the sun rays that you could see from far out, I would not even have known that this was a ray tracing world. Now some might like that and others might not. Many want to see some of the effects of the natural rays, but in such a way that it does not take away from the look and the feel of the original game. Others want to see a complete overhaul of the game with RTX, and if that is your goal, Nvidia RTX will definitely not be for you. It is clear that they wanted to showcase what ray tracing could do, but without the world changing too much. Now going through the water as always is where the effects showcase their strongest aspect. The water is clear, but it still fits into the blocky world in a natural way where it does not feel out of place. They also do a good job of blending everything together in a way where it is clear that changes were made, but it still feels like vanilla Minecraft in many ways. Now when you reach the land, a few things is noticeable. The way the sun falls over the world looks amazing, especially over the water, but the texture of the game is still very much the same. You can see it in every block. The original blocky effects are still present, with the exception of a few smooth ones in between to make the light rays bounce off them. Inside the castle that is supposed to be the main event, nothing immediately stands out. That is quite normal for RTX though. The entire point, and I mention this all the time, is using actual rays that fall over the world in a natural way, similar to how things work in the real life, and therefore most of the changes will be much more noticeable from the outside instead of the inside. Now one thing that I will say though is that Nvidia built these worlds to show off ray tracing. If your goal was to sell people on your feature and the map was built with a giant castle for people to explore, maybe better light sources can be used to showcase your castle since RTX is the goal. Now while exploring the castle, I did sometimes forget that the feature was even on. I do not know if that was intentional from them, but right now, although the castle does look cool, it might just as well have been a normal vanilla build. The world around the castle did look amazing though, and those moments when you walk outside from up high and see the world, that is when you are reminded of just how much RTX can change the game for you and how all of this should really be available for all players to enjoy. It really does make the world come alive. There are moments of brilliance inside the structure as well though. When you first enter a room and you see the sun shine through, it does make everything come alive, but those moments are far and in between on this map. With that said though, it was still fun to explore.
Adventure lies ahead of us. Hey, hey, remember that cave we found yesterday? Did you pack our swords and lanterns? Cause I think there's something living in here. Not that I'm scared or anything, but I think I saw something up there.
If a scary sight comes biting like a fiend, I will stand and fight, yeah you can count on me. I will protect you from this dark, 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 dark world full of lies. Did you think you could rise against us? Don't you know who we are? We
I'll wrap you up and take you to safety. Don't give up hope. We fought the demon that had attacked you. Please rest and heal. I want to save you. Please let me save you. Don't give up hope. Hey, hey, this place. It's kinda scary, but we'll be okay. Big bro, I'll let you go first and be my shield.
No deep. Did you pack on mana potions? Cause there's something evil living in here. Not that I'm scared or anything, but I think it's good to be prepared.
If a scary sight comes biting like a fiend, I will stand and fight. Yeah, you can count on me. I will protect.
Now I did all of the exploring that I wanted to do on the inside, so it was time for me to move on and see what the rest of the map had to offer on the outside. Now outside is obviously where this world had the most shine. The inside structures might not stand out as much for very valid and obvious reasons, but when the sun shines over this world properly, it does an amazing job showcasing what ray tracing is all about. It is, however, as always, in the darkness where the light shines the brightest, and with this map there is no exception. Nighttime might not have come yet, but I did find an awesome cave. In the cave, unfortunately this world did not have too much more to offer in terms of visual effects. I did find a cornfield that I thought looked really good, but I would have loved to see something under the night sky. Now the funny thing about this is that I did try to wait things out, and at some point it did look like the sun was setting, but no matter how long I waited, it never did. Now I was a little bit disappointed that I could not see the night sky, as I think there might have been some elements that could have benefited from the moonlight, like the cornfields, but unfortunately it just never came. Now exploring outside the castle did also not offer up too much. Now again, these things that I mention is not to critique, but rather just as an observation. Obviously when they built this world, the only thing that they had in mind was showcasing a very small piece with RTX effects, so you can get an overview of what this world can actually offer you. Now on this specific map, the main event, the castle, unfortunately falls very short, and because of this the whole map I would say is probably far behind the rest that I have explored so far. Now I did try my best to explore all of the world a little bit more just to see if I could find anything else that will show off the effects of ray tracing, but there really wasn't much beyond this point. Here and there I did find a few caves, but they were mostly just dark holes that did very little to showcase anything. Now outside of the man-made caves that were built specifically around RTX, you won't find anything inside the PC generated ones. All of this did however make me wonder how this version of RTX will look for caves and cliffs. Exploring mangrove with RTX will definitely be great. I also found a few villages here and there, but nothing really to write home about. The RTX effects here were very small but still noticeable. If you are looking for a visual overall however, you are better off just downloading a good mod, and that is exactly what I did.